We're going to be opening up this section to give us more space. We're a little overwhelmed by the crowd, but please keep coming in the room, brothers and sisters. Woo! Come on, ask me. Keep moving up. Try to fill every space, and as soon as we can, we're going to be opening up that section of the hall. Woo!
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast to be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way the words do when they settle near your skin. Kept on the inside and no sunlight, sometimes a shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you said
Won't you take me where my feet feel happy in the wrong time? The cathedral of reason lets the bells chime, and the lightning is fine.
All right, brothers and sisters.
To know that people wait
Woo! Can you hear me? Brothers and sisters, can you hear me? Woo! Good evening, brothers and sisters. My name is Joanna Webb Garvin, and I'm the Legislative Director for AFSCME Council 31. Brothers and sisters, we are here tonight to send a message. Our message is simple. Our message is powerful. And we're sending this message from every corner of the state of Illinois. We're holding rallies in Chicago, Joliet, the Quad Cities, Metro East, Southern Illinois, and Rockford, and thousands have turned out to send that message. And thanks to you, brothers and sisters, our message from Springfield, Illinois is going to be heard loud. It's going to be heard clear. We are standing up for fairness, and we are standing strong. Many of us here today provide the vital public services that our communities rely on. So as I call you out, brothers and sisters, let me hear you. For we protect and care for our children. We keep our community safe. We care for veterans. We serve people with disabilities. We help struggling families. And we do so much more each and every day. But Governor Ronner is refusing to sign a budget unless lawmakers roll over for his agenda. This is what his agenda is. His agenda is to make it harder for injured workers. His agenda is to drive down workers' wages. His agenda is to weaken our unions. And it's not just with the budget. The governor's doing the same thing with our union contracts. He won't agree to a contract unless we roll over to his demands, which are going to hurt. Hey, no, hell no, we won't roll. Hell no, we won't roll. Those demands, brothers and sisters, they not only hurt the services we provide, they hurt the people we serve. He wants to privatize and sell off state government. Yeah, He wants to make sure our health care for our families is unaffordable. He wants to freeze pay and replace fair wages with political bonuses. They call this the turnaround agenda, and that's exactly what they want to do. They want to turn workers around and force us backwards, and we say no. No. We won't go back. We are standing for fairness, and together, brothers and sisters, we will move Illinois forward. And that, brothers and sisters, is why we are here today. First up, we are going to hear from Pastor T. Ray Majunkins. He is the senior pastor at Union Baptist Church here in Springfield. He is a member of the Faith Coalition for the Common Good, and more importantly, he is a very powerful voice for justice in Springfield. He will be leading us in our opening prayer.
Come on, make some noise in here. Make some noise. When I came in, someone said it was hot in here and said it was getting really heated in here. And I thought to myself that this is the ample time for us to turn the heat up on our governor. Now that was really sorry, right? Name. We come now here today in your name, oh here, God. We stand on you. That the things that teaches us about justice. And for that reason, we thank you for every family, for we understand and we know how goes the community, goes the city, and how goes the city, goes the state. So right now, oh God, as we pray, God, let this prayer ring from you, oh God, to the State House, then to the governor's mansion. God, we know that you're able to change minds and that an agreement will come forward over the budget. All that from education, oh God, to protecting their hands and their heart, but not just them, oh God, do we ask that you strengthen, but those of us who set at gate and look for fair wages for a fair labor to do what we believe you have called us to do. Now, every speaker, as they speak, oh God, allow us to hear your voice come through them. We ask these things now, and God bless you.
Our next speaker is Cinda Klickna, who began her teaching career here in Springfield, Illinois, 2011, and prior to that served as IEA Secretary Treasurer for 6 years. Let's give a warm labor welcome to Cinda Klickna.
Thank you. Thank you. So, the Illinois Education Association, I know how important state workers are. I know how important all of you are, because I grew up in this city. My father and my sister both work for state government. And all of you who are parents and grandparents of kids who go to schools here in this area are important to all of our IEA members. And we know that we want to add our voice from IEA, saying to Governor Rauner to stop holding the state budget hostage. His hostage-taking attitude is having a terrible impact on our students. He's made it harder for working parents to pay for child care. He's forcing students to quit college and university because they've lost financial aid. He's causing problems in our classrooms. How can we expect children to learn and our teachers be expected to educate when children arrive at school reeling from the impact of lost or reduced social services to their families? And many of you are feeling the impact of his hostage-taking. All of you, we support. And we know that you are the voice of the people that you serve, that you help the sick, the elderly, children, and this state. So by attacking the unions, and believe me, our union gets attacked too, the governor is merely hurting working families. We know what needs to be done. You know what needs to be done. We need to resolve the budget crisis and pass a budget that meets the needs of working families. So I say to Governor Rauner, it's time to turn off the turnaround agenda and work with all public employees to move Illinois forward. We welcome you.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, Ronner's cuts have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Ronner's cuts have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Ronner's cuts have got to go. Brothers and sisters, some state services can be particularly difficult to deliver, and our next two speakers know all too well how that goes. Dina McGill works for the Department of Human Services, AFSCME Local 2600. And Sean Dawson from the Logan Correctional Center, President. AFSCME Local 2073. They both serve on the 200-strong AFSCME State Bargaining Committee.
Hello, my union brothers and sisters. This is awesome. This is so awesome. My name is Dina McGill, and I work for the Illinois Department of Human Services. I am a single mom who was once on welfare. As a DHS employee, I am able to help other parents when they are struggling to provide for their families. It's because of DHS that struggling families eat and get the medical care that they need. We support the people of Illinois when they need help, whether they're elderly, unemployed, sick, disabled, or a mental illness. But now the governor is putting our well-being at risk. He's demanding huge hikes in what all state, university, and other families pay for health care. Ronner would like to make our health plan the worst for the state. He's trying to double our coverage for premiums and out-of-pocket expenses. This is my biggest fear. My son Dalton and I both have serious chronic medical conditions. Because we have good, affordable health care, we get our daily medications and we live our normal lives. But if those co-pays go way up, paying for our prescriptions would be a heavy burden. Going without medication is not an option. The same goes for our doctors. My son has a rare disease that affects his esophagus. It gets blocked, causing him to choke. Imagine the frightening fear a boy has when he's choking. Dalton got to the point he was afraid and he wouldn't eat. It took a year to be diagnosed and another year and a half of treatment. We participated in studies. We went through so many tests, I can't even tell you how many we went through. We traveled to Cincinnati to see top specialists, and we stayed there for weeks. Now, the governor might say, they're offering new health care choices. But after you've gone 12 years of treatment with the same doctor, we don't want to change. My son is alive because of these doctors. We want to keep them, and we want to be able to afford them. It's really hot up here. That's why I'm here tonight. That's right. Let's turn the heat up. That's why I'm here tonight. We need to stand together, and I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to get a fair contract for my family, your family, and for the citizens of the state of Illinois. Fair budget now. Thank you.
Corrections, let me in! Illinois, let me hear it! As you were told before, my name's Sean Dawson. I work at Logan Correctional Center, and I gotta say, I'm damn proud to represent as the local president for 2073. As we all know, ladies and gentlemen, working in a prison is a tough job. It takes a special person, both mentally and physically, to do what we do. But you know what? We do it. Day in and day out, we put ourselves in harm's way. For our communities, for our families, and for our state. Much like the brave men and women who serve as firefighters across this state, we too walk into the flame while others walk away. But day in and day out, we do it. It's knowing this that makes it so hard for me to try to understand why our governor's trying to weaken the protections we have on our job and drive down our standards of living. The governor himself wants to strip the safeguards in our contract to protect privatization. These private companies he wants to bring into the facilities, they're not focused on quality like we provide. They're focused on profit, and that's it. We've seen firsthand in this nation what happens when privatization takes place. The state of Ohio is a prime example. What happened in Ohio when the food service industry was privatized? They brought in food and served to the inmate population food that was riddled with maggots. Was it the governor that the inmates took their frustration out on? No. Absolutely not. It was the frontline staff that served the state that put them in harm's way. And for what? Profit. He wants to drive down our wages. Quite regularly, he references his role models in surrounding states like Kentucky, Indiana, where correctional employees themselves can't earn a wage to which they could support their families with the level of dignity and respect that we provide for ours in this state. With unfair pay comes high turnover. With high turnover, lower safety, lower security within our prisons. Governor Rauner is part of the millionaires and billionaires that want to blame the unions on the working class. Blame us for the financial problems of this state. I think we know better. One of our greatest presidents in this great nation once stated, John F. Kennedy, our unions speak not for the narrower self-interest, but for public interest and for the people. And that's what we're here for, gentlemen and ladies. Again, make no mistake, we are at war. That is 100% for sure. You are the soldiers that are going to hold that front line. You will be the warriors for the working class. And that's what we're here for today. I need to wrap this up, so I'm going to leave you with this thought, and this is kind of a correctional thought. Day after day, correctional officers respond to the call with one simple word. When our names are called at the start of our shift, we respond to here. That's exactly what we are. One simple message. was such a tremendous meeting. Here, what I want you to take from today is that we're here. Let your communities know we're here for them. Let the public know we're here for them. Let the state know we're here for them. And we got one solid message to send to the governor. We're stronger than we've ever been. We're here, and we're not going anywhere.
What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Brothers and sisters, our next speaker has been through many battles over the decades as a union activist. She's now the executive, our very own Roberta Lynch.
It's a beautiful sight. Now I'm testing both mics, and I need the help of people in the back, okay? So how is if this one sounds good, raise your hand. That's okay. Okay, not bad. Okay, now how about this one? Is this better? Is this better? Use them both. Okay, that's a little hard to do. Sisters and brothers, it was just about 2 years ago that a group of billionaires gathered in the city of Chicago to be addressed by one Ken Griffin, Bruce Rauner's best friend, whose complaint was that billionaires don't have enough influence on politics. So they set out to change that, and they spent $65 million to buy themselves a governorship of the state of Illinois. And those same billionaires who have that wealth beyond Ken Griffin's worth $7 billion all by himself, money beyond what we can calculate, these are the same people who say that state workers are overpaid, that teachers are overpaid. These are the same people who say that pensions that allow us to retire with a measure of dignity are overly generous. These are the same people who are attacking the prevailing wage and trying to drive down wages in the construction industry. Their policies, you've heard already what they're about, are driving our state. This governor is driving our state down into chaos and division. That's what he's doing. We're coming together here and all across this state, from Chicago to Marion. We're rallying to send a message. We want unity. We want fairness. We want fairness. We want fairness. Sisters and brothers, we're standing up for the middle-class families that unions represent, who are struggling every day to hold on to the hard-won economic security we've tried so hard to achieve. But that's not all. We're standing up for the countless numbers of people, our fellow citizens, who are struggling every day to make it into the middle class, who don't have a union to fight for them. We're fighting for them too. We're standing up for fair contracts for all the workers you'll hear from here who are negotiating with the state. They're negotiating with a governor who unfortunately doesn't respect workers or value the work we do. In fact, sisters and brothers, sometimes I wonder, does he even know what we do? We're standing up to that governor to say working people matter. And honest day's work, an honest day's work, and sometimes it's a very long day, matters. Serving the citizens of Illinois matters. Now, our unions and so many other unions are fighting for a contract that's fair, that allows us to continue to grow. We don't want to be forced out on strike. We passed a bill, tried to pass it. We did pass it till the governor vetoed it, right? We said we want another way, another path. And he said no. He vetoed that bill because he's trying to force a strike. Now, we want to keep providing the vital services on which so many citizens depend. And we will do our best, everything in our power, to continue to do that. But sisters and brothers, we will not be pushed around. We will not be pushed down. We will not be pushed back. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're standing together here with our friends, our families. I saw people who brought their children here tonight to say to this governor, you can't repair a damaged economy by killing off the middle class. To say to this governor, you can't build up a state by tearing down its people. Now, the labor movement is about raising wages, and we make no apologies for that. That's what a decent standard of living requires. But we're not just about raising wages. We're about raising children. We're about raising communities up. And sisters and brothers, we're about raising human dignity. All of us here today have a special responsibility and mission as we enter 2016. This is an election year. This governor has a $20 million slush fund with one goal, to make sure that the Illinois General Assembly only has people in it who will do exactly what he tells them. It's up to us. $20 million isn't enough to defeat the will of the people if we make our will known. If we go out, if we knock on doors, if we have to stand with the people who stood with us. Tonight you're going to hear from Senator Sam McCann. The governor is trying to take him out. We have to make sure that Sam McCann wins that election. 2016, most important election of our lives, because I can tell you this, if he takes over the General Assembly, no doubt about it, the first thing that happens, collective bargaining rights, unions are gone. That's his goal, that's his mission, that's the only reason he's the governor of Illinois, is to destroy the labor movement. And that election, it's great to see everybody here tonight. We are going to need to rest over the holidays, because we are going to need to be out on the doors in 2016, and like we've never been before. And when we enter 2016, when January comes, right after that New Year's holiday, the first holiday of the year will be the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King. And those of us here from AFSCME have a very special connection to Dr. King, because Dr. King was marching with us for a fair contract for workers in Memphis, Tennessee. That's why he was there, to stand with AFSCME members for a fair contract. That's the spirit. And I know everybody here, no matter what union you're from, you share that connection. And you share Dr. King's dream of dignity and fairness for all. Dr. King marched with us in Memphis all those years ago. And sisters and brothers, we are still marching. Every time we demand a fair wage and dignity on the job, we're marching. Every time we come together to defend the right to have a union and to negotiate together, we're marching. Every time we go out to knock on doors for candidates who stand with working families, we're marching. Every time we give powerful voice to the vision and the dreams that we have for our families and our future, we are still marching. Sisters and brothers, we are marching on, and we will not stop until, in the words of Dr. King, justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. Thank you.
Wow, that's all I can say is wow. Brothers and sisters, I am now proud to introduce to you our next speaker, Senator Sam McCann. Senator, the only Republican to look the governor in the eye and say the state of Illinois is not for sale.
Whoa! Woo! Yeah! Wow! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? God bless you, brother. Thank you so much. President Roberta, Joanna, thank you for having me here, each and every one of you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for allowing me to serve you in the Senate. You know, we're standing in Springfield, Illinois, Sangamon County. And Springfield and Sangamon County's favorite son, Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, a founding member of the Republican Party, the nation's first Republican president. You know what he had to say about labor? He said the Republican Party of today, unfortunately, needs to go to Brainy Quotes and read this. That's where I found it. He said that the Republican Party stands for both the man and the dollar. And in case of conflict, the man must come first. When I took that vote, I've taken several votes to represent my district, not to be a contrarian, not to come here and advance my agenda. It's not about my agenda, the governor's agenda. It's about the will of the people. It's about representative government functioning the way it was designed to function by the founders of this nation. The people of my district spoke loudly and clearly, and I received it. I heard you loudly and clearly. There are too many people who believe that you should follow party instead of principles, that you should follow the will of one person instead of the two C's, your conscience and your constituents. It's about your conscience and your constituents. When you spoke, I listened, and I respectfully voted the way you asked me to vote and the way I believe was right. Now, when people ask me, Sam, how can you do that? How can the party, why won't you get along with the party? I get along with the, God bless you, brother. You know what they're missing the boat on? There's an awful lot of Republicans right here in this crowd here tonight. And it's not about, we've got to get past the point of it being about Democrat and Republican. We've got to get past liberal and conservative. There is no reason that the common denominator of hard work, of working people being rewarded an honest contract, a fair contract that includes an honest day's pay with honest benefits for honest hard work provided. What is partisan about that? There's nothing partisan about that. You know, we live in a time where I feel like they're trying to put us in a time machine and move us backwards. They're saying, as I said to some of the folks who got a little upset with me for being the only Republican to break ranks, just like on Senator Menard's bill, he's going to speak to you here soon. I was the only Republican to vote for his funding reform bill, his school funding reform bill. They want to put us in a time machine and return us to one-man rule, an absolute monarchy. This isn't about the will and the whims of one man, regardless of who that one man might be. Too many people have fought and died to take us from the whims of one man. It's about the will of the people. So I am honored to serve you in the Senate. I'm honored to stand up and be a voice for working people. You provide the services that state government is supposed to provide. You are the frontline delivery staff. You are the people that we need to stand up for, that we need to protect, that we need to defend. President Roberta mentioned another fellow who somewhat identified as a Republican back in the 50s and the 60s, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boy, we've come a long way, haven't we? That fella said it doesn't matter where you stand in times of comfort and convenience. And let me tell you, when some of these votes that have come the last year or so have come, it would have been far more comfortable and far more convenient to stand with the herd. But you don't send me here to stand with the herd. You send me here to speak for you. Dr. King said it doesn't matter where you stand in times of comfort and convenience. What matters is where you stand. That's exactly right. God bless you. What matters is where you stand when it's time for the rubber to hit the road. What matters is where you stand when people need you. What matters is where you stand when people are counting on you to do your job, to fulfill your oath of office, and to do your duty. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand with you and all the working men and women of the state of Illinois. God bless you.
Ryder says cut back, we say fight back. Cut back. Cut back. Ryder says cut back, we say fight back. Cut back. Cut back. Woo, brothers and sisters. Our next speaker, I'm very proud to introduce. He is the state senator from the 49th District. As many of you know, he's been a great friend of labor, and he has seen firsthand Bruce Rauner's determination to weaken the middle class. Give a warm welcome to Senator Andy Menard.
Good evening. Good evening. I am proud to say that this senator is the son of a public sector employee. I am proud to tell you of all the things in 3 years that we've done in the Senate, I have a 100% labor voting record. My dad retired a few years ago, busier now than he was when he was working. The day he retired, his salary was $30,000. 30 years of work, $30,000 salary. My dad was a hard worker, still is. Does a lot for our community. When I was young, he would pick my sister and my brother and me up from school. My mother was a nurse. She traveled rural areas to take care of her patients. He would take us home, start dinner, take off one pair of boots, put on another to go do another job. A lot of you do that too. Why did he do it? He did it because he wanted more for his kids. Why do you do this? Because you want more for your kids. He wanted to save for college, to put 3 kids through college. He wanted to take a modest vacation in the summer. You know where we went? The sign's down. We went to the State Museum before it was closed and the doors were locked. But my friends, what we need to know today in Illinois is that $30,000 is more money than half of the families in our country earn today. We are in a time machine. Senator McCann is right. If we don't stand up to these things, we will be going backwards. We can't let that happen. Now, if my father, little story, hypothetical, if my father were to sit down and tell Governor Rauner his story, I think the governor would listen to what he had to say. He may not hear it, but he would listen. He would tell him about his work. He would tell him about not taking days off, working overtime, not getting raises years after years in city government. But I think the governor would listen. And after my father was done, I think the governor would say something like this to him. You know what, Bill? I appreciate your work. You worked hard. I appreciate it. But here's the bottom line, Bill. You made too much money for the work that you did. Illinois can't afford you. And then in the next breath, and this is where we come in the next breath, the governor would turn to the people of the state with a smile on his face and that Carhartt on his back. And he would say to the people who are deeply concerned about the direction we're going in Illinois, he would point a finger of blame and he would say, it's Bill Menard and the tens of thousands of others like him across Illinois. They are the reason the state is broken. What's important here, my friends, is that the finger of blame in that conversation wouldn't be coming from the guy working 2 jobs, making $30,000 a year. It'd be coming from the guy who makes $30,000 an hour. That's why the right to collectively bargain a contract is so important. That's why a fair contract is so important. That's why we won't be held hostage in the legislature to a radical, anti-union, anti-middle-class agenda. My friends, that's why I'm here tonight. I support what we do together. We will fix Illinois when we build the middle class, not tear it down. God bless you and thank you.
What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Brothers and sisters, let me see those signs. Let me see you. Woo! Brothers and sisters, our next speaker recognizes that all battles for justice must be linked. So please join me in welcoming Teresa Haley, the president of the Illinois NAACP. NAACP.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Good evening, my brothers and sisters in the union. The NAACP has 5 letters, and so does the union. We do not discriminate. We join together, you here tonight in this fight. The only way we're going to change things is at the voting booth. You have to register to vote. But not only do we have to get out to register to vote, we must show up on Election Day. Say Election Day. Election Day. Election Day. Election Day. We are one union. We are one vote. We are one voice. And the change starts with us here tonight. I need you all to make sure on Election Day that you go to those polls and that you vote. Dr. King stood up and fought. He died fighting. The NAACP continues to fight for you. The NAACP is not about black folks. It's about all folks in this room tonight. The NAACP is over 100 years, and believe it or not, it started right here in Springfield, Illinois. So I am pleased to welcome you to our hometown tonight. But I ask that when you leave here that you do what's right, that you go back to your communities, you register people to vote, you contact your legislators, and if they are not doing what you're supposed to do, vote them out. 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 Roberta talked about Martin Luther King. On Martin Luther King's holiday is not a day for you to rest. It's a day of service. We ask that wherever you come from, wherever you are in your community, get out and get involved. We have a Martin Luther King Unity March, and we want to see you here. And if you don't have a march going on wherever you come from, damn it, start one. The other thing that we're asking you to do is to come back to Springfield. When we had the state convention and the national convention a couple years in NAACP, we showed up in Chicago for the ASME's national convention, and we had Reverend Barber come. Reverend Barber wants to come here. We are going to do a Merrill Monday here in Springfield, Illinois. The time is now, union, for all of us to stand up and fight. The time is now for everyone in this room to do what's right. The time is now not for you all to sit down and go home and say, that was a great rally, but we need for you to fight for change. Are you going to fight for change with us? We want fair contracts. My mother was a single parent. There were 10 of us. She worked 2 and 3 jobs. Hell, we never saw her. We didn't even know we had a mama half the time. But people fought, bled, and died for every one of you to be in this room tonight. I saw a survey today that said the middle class is under 50%. That's because of people like Walker, and we don't need Rauner doing the same thing here in Illinois, do we? So you need to stand up and fight. You need to do what's right. You need to contact your legislators, and you need to show up and show out on Election Day and fight for a change. Good night.
Woo! What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Brothers and sisters, when the governor decided to close the Illinois State Museum, those who knew what was at stake swung into action and worked to halt those closures. Helping us lead that effort was Dr. Amy McEwen, professor of biology at the University of Illinois Chicago. Give a warm welcome to Dr. McEwen.
Hard acts to follow here. Well, first I want to thank you for inviting Save the Illinois State Museum to speak today. Now, as you know, part of what our state has lost, given the governor's continued tactics, is a state museum system that is open to the public. Every day that our museum system remains closed, the losses mount and morale among the staff becomes lower, and people find jobs elsewhere and leave Illinois. The staff who remain continue to work diligently behind closed doors to keep the 13.5 million curated objects maintained. And they continue their research, but now they lack a forum to communicate it to the public. We have AFSCME to thank for the fact that these staff are still working. If not for AFSCME, they might have been whittled down to the staff of three that the DNR director declared adequate to curate 13.5 million objects across all the facilities. The museum closure has been a loss to the public and to Illinois families. No more public lectures by scientists, historians, and artists. No more science education events. No more play museum for overworked parents. It has been a loss to artists. No more Illinois Artisans program, which allowed artists, essentially small business entrepreneurs, to sell their work at museum sites around the state. It has been a loss to science and historical research, with no more researchers coming into the museum from outside, and no more loans of objects for research purposes, and no more student internships, and no more public exhibits showcasing the art, culture, and natural history of our state. But these are not isolated losses. For the museum was a coherent whole, a team of scientists, curators, and education specialists who worked together in a coordinated fashion, a team that took decades upon decades to build and only months for the governor and others to weaken. Now, as a woman in science myself, I am personally outraged that we have lost a role model for our community with the science leadership, with the forced retirement of former director Bonnie Stiles. Now, she is not alone. 6 of 10 science staff have now retired. Some of these were forced retirements. The museum's accreditation is now at risk since the American Alliance of Museums put the museum on probation in October following its closure. So I'm going to end with a few demands. First, on behalf of our almost 15,000 Facebook followers, we demand that the governor sign SB 317, which would open our museum back up. The political will of the people of Illinois is clear. Just sign the damn bill. We demand that the museum be opened back up and run as it has been in the past, with highly trained professional curators and scientists across the disciplines, not by political appointees. We demand that the governor apologize for the damage that he has done to the ISM. The damage he has done to our state's reputation, to the state of science in Illinois, and to the morale of the people who show up day after day because they believe in something bigger than themselves. They believe in understanding our culture and our history. They believe in unlocking the mysteries of the natural world and teaching the next generation. And finally, Finally, we demand that the governor start governing. And that he work for a fair budget and that he listen to the voices of the people. I'm going to end with something I've said before. Museums are not something you close in hard times. Museums are refuges in hard times. They serve to remind us that times have been hard before and people still figured out a way forward. The Illinois State Museum was founded in 1877. 1877, and for 138 years, it has served to help the people of Illinois understand our past in order to chart our future. It survived World War I. It survived the Great Depression, it survived World War II, and hopefully it will survive this administration. Governor Rauner, open our museum now.
Thank you, Dr. McEwen.